Yo, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be going over the NBA slate on DraftKings for Thursday, March 22nd. Today is actually my birthday, guys. I'm recording this Wednesday night on the 21st, but probably by the time you're watching this, it'll be Thursday, which is my birthday. So hopefully we can have some luck for this video. Hopefully the picks do well, and maybe I'll have some birthday luck on my side. I'm pretty sure we're going to be out doing stuff Thursday night, but I should be back in time to make a video for Friday. Should have a video out for Friday. Always trying to get out as many videos for you guys as I can, just get out as much content for you guys as I can. But yeah, before we get started looking at today's 6-game slate, make sure you guys drop a like on the video. I would really appreciate it. And if you're new and you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you click that subscribe button down below. It definitely means a lot. But yeah, starting off at point guard today, we got Harden and Ben Simmons, Kemba, I guess. CP3 you could kind of consider our stud options here. We do have news right now on Wednesday that Chris Paul is questionable for this game against Detroit. And obviously, if Chris Paul is out today, that's going to make James Harden pretty much a stone lock at 11,600. There are other studs on the slate, like Anthony Davis, who's 100 more, but the Pelicans are playing their third game in a row. They played on Tuesday, they played on Wednesday, and they're playing again today on Thursday. So I'm kind of worried about Anthony Davis. He might see a minutes limit here, or just might not get full minutes. It is a great matchup against the Lakers, but playing 3 games in 3 days definitely concerns me. We might actually see some of the Pelicans rest here. So for that reason, I do love Harden on this slate. Against Detroit, I'm not really worried about this matchup. With Avery Bradley no longer on this team, Detroit's defense is definitely not as good. And obviously, if Chris Paul does not play today, James Harden's going to be probably the biggest lock on the slate. Harden just puts up insane numbers when Chris Paul's off. Even with Paul playing lately, Harden's been getting constant 60 burgers, 64, 63, and 60 DraftKings points his last 3 games. We know he's going to play big minutes if the game's competitive. I think this game should definitely be at least competitive enough to where Harden's going to have to play full minutes. So I really like paying up for him on this slate. I love the floor that he has right now. And obviously, if Chris Paul is out, that ceiling for James Harden is going to be through the roof. We could definitely see him put up a 80, 90-point game or a DraftKings point game if Chris Paul misses. So I love Harden on this slate. Ben Simmons is in a good spot against the Magic, but I just prefer Harden. Kemba Walker probably won't be going there. CP3, if he plays, he's cheap, but just not a guy I really like either. I do like Tyreke Evans here against Charlotte. We do know that Tyreke Evans is going to play today. It's already been confirmed, and we know that Marc Gasol is going to rest as well. So Tyreke Evans is going to see a ton of usage here, and we could definitely see him put up a 45 to 50-point game in the spot. And Tyreke at 7,900 with no Gasol does make a lot of sense in my opinion. That matchup with Kemba Walker you're not really worried about, so I like going to Evans here. If you want to play him as shooting guard, I think that makes a ton of sense. Definitely a guy that I do like. You also have other good mid-range plays. I really like LONZO Ball here against the Pelicans. This is a great matchup. Most likely, Ball is going to be guarded by Rajon Rondo, and Rondo is not a good defender. The Pelicans, they've really struggled defensively against point guards this year. Now, since the Pelicans are playing their third game in 3 days, we might see them rest guys. It's possible they rest Rondo here. But if Rondo plays, he's playing his third game in 3 days. He's definitely going to be tired. Not going to be able to keep up with Lonzo, and I think Lonzo has a really good game today. So I do like him at 7,600. I think I would prefer Tyreke Evans for a little bit more, especially since Gasol's not going to play. But obviously Lonzo makes sense if you want to go to him. And then other point guard plays, not a lot I love in the 6K range, like Rondo. Against the Lakers, I could go there, but I'm kind of worried about Rondo's minutes here. And like I said, there's actually a chance he might rest today. So if we look to this 5K range, definitely some plays I like here. We can go to some of the Dallas guards with Dennis Smith Jr. already out, with Wesley Matthews pretty much done for the season. JJ Barea and Yogi Ferrell are definitely 2 guys we can consider if we want to go for some value at point guard or shooting guard. They're eligible at both positions. I do really like Yogi Ferrell here just because he's a little bit cheaper, and I can reasonably project him to get some big minutes against Utah. That's obviously not a great matchup. But if the game blows out, Yogi Ferrell's going to get minutes either way. He played 27 minutes last game against the Pelicans, 23 DraftKings points. I can definitely pencil in Ferrell for at least 28, 29, 30 minutes with upside for way more. And at 5,100, if he's going to play 30 minutes, even though it's a tough matchup against the Jazz, I think Ferrell can definitely pay off this price tag. You could go to JJ Barea. Barea might have more upside, but I feel like Ferrell might be the safer play just because he's going to get big minutes. But it makes sense to consider both guys. Just because both of them are going to play solid minutes as well. But then if we look for other point guard plays, for value, sub 5K, not really a lot I'm considering. Maybe Andrew Harrison, but with Tyreke coming back, most likely won't be going there, but I guess you could consider him at 4,900. He has been playing well lately. But obviously Tyreke's been out. Ian Clark could definitely be an option as well. One more guy. If Rondo somehow rests today, which is pretty likely, it's definitely possible, then we could go to Ian Clark at 3,800. But that's obviously news we're going to have to wait on. So let's go ahead and move on to shooting guard and look at this position. A lot of plays here I've kind of already mentioned, so I'm going to skip over those guys and look for some options that I haven't talked about. Guys in this mid-range are priced up to me to where I don't really want to consider them, like Taurean Prince and Buddy Hield, just kind of too expensive to where I really want to go to them. I think there's pretty clear play here in this mid-range. Jeremy Lamb against Memphis. Been playing Lamb pretty much the last 2 days with Batum out. As long as Batum remains out today, we don't have that news as of Wednesday night, but the Charlotte Hornets, they are on a back-to-back here. I would imagine, since Batum did not play Wednesday night, that he's most likely not going to play today. And as I'm recording this Wednesday night, Jeremy Lamb's having a solid game. He's playing 30-plus minutes again. I believe he has somewhere around 30 DraftKings points. I can easily project Lamb for 30 or more minutes here, 25, 30 DK points, pretty likely from him. And at 5,700, that's definitely hitting value. And there isn't a lot of value I love on this slate, so guys like Jeremy Lamb, Yogi Ferrell that I can pencil in for big minutes, definitely guys I'm going to be looking at if I'm trying to go cheap. And that's really it for shooting guard for the guys that I like, sub 5K. Possibly E'Twaun Moore. We could consider maybe if the Pelicans decide to rest some guys, we could go to him. Obviously, you have plays here that I've already talked about, like Ian Clark. Same scenario there with E'Twaun Moore, Harrison, if you want to go to him at shooting guard. But that's it for this position, for the options that really catch my eye. So moving on to small forward. Aaron Gordon's up top here, but I don't think he's a guy I'm really considering today at 7,300. I think there's just other players I'd rather go to. Obviously, since I like Harden so much, and if Chris Paul's out, Harden's going to be a guy I'm penciling in. It's going to be really hard to play like Harden and Aaron Gordon. So I think we can look for other mid-tier plays, go a little bit cheaper at small forward. Definitely a guy that really sticks out to me in this mid-range. You can play him at small forward or power forward. I really like JaMychal Green here at 5,800 against Charlotte. With the news that Gasol is going to rest today, I'm expecting JaMychal Green to see some big minutes here. And he does pick up a lot of usage with Gasol off the court, a lot of opportunity for rebounds. Last game against Brooklyn, Marc Gasol did not play. JaMychal Green put up 46 DraftKings points in 29 minutes. That was obviously a great matchup. This matchup here against the Hornets isn't as good, but we can expect JaMychal Green to play 30 or more minutes here. The usage is going to be there with Gasol off the court. Pretty much all the opportunity is going to be there. All the opportunity for rebounds, for points. Definitely a potential double-double coming for JaMychal Green in this game. And at 5,800, that's too cheap of a price in my opinion. So I love him if you're going to that mid-tier at small forward or power forward. Definitely a guy that really sticks out to me today. And a guy I really like pretty much in all formats, cash, GPPs. I think JaMychal Green should be penciled into your lineups for today. And then for value, going really cheap, not a lot I see here that I really like. The value on today's slate is pretty gross in my opinion, at least sub 5K. There isn't a lot that I really like. So let's just go ahead and move on to power forward, where we do have Anthony Davis up top here against the Lakers. Like I said, guys, the Pelicans, they're playing their third game in 3 days. They're on a back-to-back-to-back, so I'm really concerned about Anthony Davis here. Definitely concerned about his minutes. I don't think he's going to play near 40 minutes like we've seen him play pretty much all year. I think we see Davis play maybe like 31, 32 minutes. Obviously, against the Lakers in 31, 32 minutes, AD could crush. He crushed the Lakers earlier this year, or at least through 2 games against them. He's averaged 71 DraftKings points through 36 minutes. He's done really well in this matchup. But again, guys, like I said at the beginning, as long as Chris Paul is out today, I would much rather have James Harden over Anthony Davis. And even if Paul plays, I actually think I prefer Harden to Davis. So not very interested in Davis today, even though it's a great matchup. I'm just really worried about that 3 game in 3 days. Really concerns me. Blake Griffin against Houston, I guess you could go to, but I think I'd actually prefer Andre Drummond, who is just 100 more. I really like Drummond today if you want to pay for him at center. So a guy like Blake Griffin, not going to really be a priority for me. And kind of the same goes with a lot of these sort of top-tier power forward plays like Randall, obviously Gordon. These guys aren't really priorities for me that I'm really trying to jam in. And power forward is just kind of a gross position to begin with. Maybe a guy like Mirotic you could go to, say AD sees limited minutes here, or even if he possibly rests. Obviously Mirotic is going to be a great play. Scal we could definitely go to if Zach Randolph is out today. We could consider Scal at 5K. Jay Crowder's been solid lately for the Jazz. You could play him at power forward if you wanted to go to him. He's very cheap at 4,800. We do know that Derek Favors, I believe he's going to return today, but Crowder's still going to see good minutes off the bench, even with Favors playing. But Crowder's not a guy I'm absolutely in love with that I feel like I have to have for value. Just a lot of the value plays in general I feel like I don't have to have. Jarrell Martin would probably be my favorite value play just because Gasol's out today. And he's really cheap, but last game against Brooklyn, I was very high on him with Gasol out, and he only put up 7 DraftKings points in 12 minutes. He fouled out in that game. Obviously, I think we're going to see Jarrell Martin bounce back here. Could definitely pay off this price tag of just $4,700. That's a very cheap price. So Jarrell Martin actually would probably be a guy to go to if you're looking to go cheap at this position, especially with Gasol not playing today. But I think that's it for power forward value for the options. They just really catch my eye. So let's go ahead and move on to center and look at this position. Like I mentioned before, I really like Andre Drummond today. Just $8,700. I think that's way too cheap of a price for Drummond. I'm not going to include him in the 5 plays just because playing Harden and Drummond doesn't leave you a ton of salary. We're going to kind of need some value if we want to do that. But Drummond could be a guy I get into some lineups, especially if value opens up. The Pelicans decide to rest some guys today. So I think Drummond makes a lot of sense. $8,700, I feel like that's just too cheap of a price for Drummond. We know the kind of upside this guy has. 2020 is definitely a possibility. He's going to grab a ton of rebounds, going to get points when he's on the court, and Drummond's going to play big minutes if the game is competitive. So I love him paying up at center. Embiid, I'm kind of worried about on a back-to-back, even though it's a great matchup against the Magic. He's $9,900. That's expensive. Like I said, it's a back-to-back. So just kind of going to stay away from Embiid today. And that kind of goes the same a lot of these other mid-tier center plays. Dwight Howard could definitely be a sneaky play here against Memphis. Dwight is priced down for the matchup. He's only $7,700, but it's actually going to be a much better matchup for him since Gasol is not going to play today. And Dwight's playing pretty well on Wednesday night against Brooklyn. He's having a pretty big game, so we could see Dwight keep this going here, keep this momentum going, and put up another big game today, especially since the matchup is going to be a lot easier without Gasol playing. So I do really like Dwight today, especially in tournaments. I feel like not many people are going to play him, and he has a lot of upside here. And kind of the same goes for CAPELA, another guy I feel like people won't really play today and definitely has a lot of upside. Going up against Detroit, I always like playing centers against Detroit because they pretty much have to play minutes. You're going to need a big body on Andre Drummond, a big body on Blake Griffin. And that's kind of where CAPELA comes in. I think we see CAPELA play about 30 minutes here, might even exceed that amount. And when CAPELA's gotten minutes this year, he's been great for fantasy. He's going to grab rebounds, going to get points when he's on the court. Definitely a potential for a double-double in this matchup. And he's also cheap at $6,800. As long as he gets the minutes, it's very likely CAPELA does return value on the salary. So I do really like him at $6,800. Not going to include CAPELA or Dwight in the 5 just because I don't really want to leave you guys with that few amount of salary. So if we look a little bit cheaper, there is a guy that I really like here, especially if Zach Randolph is out today. Willie CAULEY-STEIN at just $5,800 is a guy that I have a lot of interest in. He's in a great matchup against the Hawks. The Hawks, their front court, it's not good defensively. They've been giving up a ton of fantasy points to centers this year. And if Randolph does not play here, we're going to see Willie CAULEY-STEIN put up a really big game. WCS has had big games this year when Randolph has missed. And he's very cheap today at just $5,800. I feel like that's a little bit too cheap of a price for Willie CAULEY-STEIN. Love him in this matchup. And as long as Randolph is out, I think he puts up a really big game. So he's a guy that I like at center if you're going to that 5K range. And then the other plays I kind of want to mention are guys I've already talked about, like Scal. If Randolph is out, Jarrell Martin with Gasol out, you could definitely play at $4,700. But that's really it for center for the value that I see. So I think that's it for this position, and I think that's really it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I do really appreciate it. Like I said at the beginning, guys, make sure you drop a like on the video if you haven't already. Make sure you subscribe as well if you haven't already. And if you do have any questions, feel free to hit me up on Twitter at the DFS_GOAT, or you can just leave a comment down below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. Good luck tonight on this slate, guys, and we'll see you tomorrow. Peace.